Hey, it's Shabes, and welcome to another edition of AniTube Digest, where we go over the best and not so best anime YouTube videos to come out this week. From the 9th of March to the 15th of March. First of the videos that I thought was not good. Come on, man. I'm more like really disappointed. Like, I really wanted this to be good because it's like the first time. I'm pretty sure this is the first time I'm talking about NineOuh. I don't want to make a not good about NineOuh's video, man. Come on, damn it. The big thing about this, his video on Crunchyroll fan subbing and world domination. For a guy that like had a video about how to research anime and was gonna make like a big thing about it, I thought. This didn't like have almost any research behind that I could tell. There's no sources that I could find, and nothing visually indicating in the video besides like promotional, like, yeah, the Crunchyroll Funimation partnership happened, yes, but you don't even show any screenshots of like the news of like Sony acquisitioning Crunchyroll, which like, yeah, is such a big thing that all of us know about. It's maybe not something you need to cite. But like, and I don't want to come off as some guy that's like, oh, cite your shit, whatever. Like, I get it. There's some things that should be considered common knowledge, but I think you rely so much on common knowledge here, and like I was there type of secondhand information. Like trust me, I was there when we were watching anime in 2007. I know what it was like, but I don't think you really paint the whole picture here. It's a very multifaceted problem, and you really much boil down the licensors are dumb because they're trying to sell you physical media, even though that was something they were trying to do since the 90s, and that was just the model back then, because the idea of streaming things and torrents was not something that was widely accessible to people. To my and I'm not going to pull a source up, I don't want to make what's tough about me doing this not good type of thing is that like this really deserves a proper rebuttal and like with actual sources and going point by point with what you're saying. And it's not like anything here is like super toxic or anything like that. That's what makes it really difficult for me to really say no to this, but I really want to cover this because like, you're a longtime member of this community, and finally coming back with a video after almost over a year. 2019 was your last video, and again it was on like researching anime and doing your research, and then like they were to have no articles or anything showing me that you did research, but it just feels like this is something you're thinking of off the top of your head and you didn't look at anything. You know what I mean? There's so much more nuance to the fan subbing community, and yes, we technically live in a post fan subbing world, but not to the extent where it's dead. like people, I think what's great about Crunchyroll that I don't think you articulate, and I don't have to articulate this, I guess, but like there was just so much about this that I think it was not adequate for me for this idea that you were presenting here. I think it was I thought it was weak. But like one of the cool things that with Crunchyroll is the downside with the fan subbing community is that it was so hot and active. There was multiple groups subbing the same thing, and it was a competition, and it was not healthy. It was very toxic in that way, and all these people are doing it for free. All these people are kind of being exploited in a way, and they're being taking advantage. Like they're putting their hard work in translating all this stuff and timing, and it's not easy to do this stuff to fan sub. And multiple groups were doing this for like Naruto or the hot shows, and like you said in the video, the other stuff would just get subbed later. If ever. If ever. That's the like there are still plenty of anime that are not subbed yet. Like fucking Dr. Slump. Like really popular like Akira Toriyama show. We got like up to episode 94. Just got subbed like this week. It's taking them 5 years to get from episode 24 to 90. There's 240 episodes of this show. Meanwhile, if this was done professionally, if Dr. Slump actually got licensed by a professional company, that show would be subbed in months. All of it in months. Because people are being paid to do it. Because it's their job. The official, the licensor and like because there's money in it, because they have to pay these people well, adequately, not slave labor like the fucking anime industry, which is completely, and like kind of catering like, oh, if you support these Western companies, you're supporting the terrible conditions in the anime industry. They're completely different. These Western groups have absolutely no control over what these companies do in treating their workers like garbage. They have no say in that. We barely have any say in, like, the cover we put on. We have to, everything has to be sent back for approval. You get very little leeway when you do this thing, because there's history and a caveat of not taking this stuff seriously, and shit just gets fucked. Shit just gets fucked, okay? It's a long, very thorny, and like it requires research and an actual like evidence and really giving you something. So even if it's not the best, I'm not even trying to criticize the quality of the evidence. It's just the complete absence of it. Like this is way more. Like, this is people's livelihoods. This is an industry. And what are you doing? I'm sorry. I don't want to be like pretentious and stuff. Of being like, oh, I work in the industry and you don't kind of thing. But like, it's not. I don't know. It just I think it just needs way more respect than what's been given here. And it's like, well, what are you doing, my guy? Like, at least these guys, like, you could call them problematic all you want, but at least they're doing something. You know? It was just really bugged me. And I can't properly, I'm not calling this a proper takedown of your video, because it's off scripted. I didn't even take any notes. I watched it twice, but I didn't take notes. Because, like, it all comes back to, where is this coming from? Every point that you're making, like, where, conjecture. And, like, yeah, some of it is like, yeah, I can kind of, if I found a source that you'd probably find it. You're probably right. In a lot of these cases. But, man, it's just the accumulation of it, and a lot of the, like, some of the stuff, like, the stuff that you were saying, and, again, it wasn't, like, the worst. It wasn't super caustic. I've seen a lot worse videos that are, like, delusional people. And you're not delusional. I know you're way smarter than this. And you care. You do give a shit. I know that, and I can see that. And so I'm not saying you don't. It's just like that. I know you're better than this kind of deal. And that's what makes this, like, really annoying for me to do, I guess. And it's like, maybe I can just ignore it. But what good is that, right? It's like, what am I gonna just ignore? It's like, oh yeah, I don't know. I just, yeah, like I there's some videos here that I watched this week that I did not talk about, that I'm not talking about because it's like, you know, I don't want to drag it through. But I know you've been here for years, dude. People know you. You know, I think you're willing to take something like this kind of deal, and it's also your first video back in a long time type of deal. Yeah, I was really disappointed in that. I was really not good. And the other video is another not good, but it's very similar. I think I watched it right afterwards, and I was like, it's the same problems. It's the same annoying, like, really frustrating. Like, there's way more nuance to this, and you're not showing as many, like, okay, so the video is from Kinda Neat. Talked about the $24 billion anime industry. And there's a lot more facts and figures here that he's definitely using. And I was very frustrated that, like, despite having all of this math on screen and facts and figures and seeming like he did his research, there is no sources to be found anywhere. Like, is it on your Patreon? I don't know where it is. Where could you put it in a pinned comment or in the description or something? Or even on screen, you know, like here's the website of, like, or a person's Twitter. Like, there's videos, the two best videos of this week, both of them adequate source, very plentiful, a bounty of sources that are very convincing to me, that it's getting their point across and strengthening what they're saying to the point where it's like, yes, I'm glad you said this sort of thing. And it's like, you know, I'm happy he's making these points because it's an exploitative industry and it's, yeah, it has problems, but, like, there's way more nuance that you should be talking about here. I loved this article that came out this week on Sakaguboru talking about Wonder Egg Priority and Skate the Infinity, both original anime projects that are on paper doing everything right, and they explain how they're doing everything right and the contrast with like versus something like ReZero and Attack on Titan, which is something that I think kind of Neet is criticizing here because he really leans in on anime is just an ad, and that just does not make sense. It is in its own. It is entertainment. It is using it as a sub. That is certainly its intended purpose for sure. But you notice a lot of these manga, a lot of these anime that are adapting these manga, Horimiya, for example. Do you notice how they're ending very recently after the anime comes out? Yeah, maybe there's something to that. Anime does have much more of a reach than manga does, because manga just has way more. And you explain, and like, there's things you could say here that's like, yes, there's merit to what you're saying here. But it was really frustrating not seeing any of those sources, and you're not covering the whole picture. It's not there are gaps. And I was also just really again very annoyed at a complete dismissal of physical media, because yes, it's an outdated system now because we finally were able to build the infrastructure, the internet infrastructure, that everyone has a computer in their house. That wasn't a thing in the 2000s, right? The majority of people didn't have the computers until like the 2010s, mid 2010s. It was around that time where people finally had strong enough internet to actually stream these things. That made YouTube viable. That made Netflix viable. And now we're taking advantage of it and stuff. And personally, this is just my conjecture, and I don't have any evidence to back this up. And I'm caveating that. You see that? You see how I'm caveating this? Because I'm not doing. This is completely off script, right? Anyway, I think it's kind of a house of cards. What's going on right now? And I do think that physical media is something that should be something that should stick around. And I'm not just, and I am just, in part I'm saying that because I work in that industry, sure. But I wouldn't have joined that industry to begin with if I didn't believe in it, right? I joined it in 2019, when streaming was kind of the thing, is still the thing, I think Disney Plus, yeah. No, I joined about the time Disney Plus launched, and all these, it really became like a streaming wars type of thing. I care about the physical media industry. I do believe in it. I think it's going to last, unlike this. I don't know. There's a whole other thing about it with the amount of money that Disney is paying the original owners of their content versus how much they're making off of that content being on their platform. There's disparities like that. There's a lot of other things. Anyway, I was just really annoyed by the way this was handled, and I don't know if you had the right temperament for it either. The way kind of Neet kind of talked about this in some points really seemed a little how to say it. He has he's very affable on screen, and then he's talking about these things kind of flippantly, not very serious. He's still having a smile and talking like this, and then talking about really terrible conditions, and he has that energy up the entire time. And there was just something about it that it was just like, there was this weird kind of feeling to me about it. I can't really put my finger on it. I can't describe it, but I really got kind of bad vibes off of it. And I just couldn't get over how much math and figures and facts you were showing without any sources. There was clearly enough effort. There was one montage where he flashes a bunch of this has been covered by a bunch of news outlets and showing a bunch of headlines from various publications of the terrible conditions of the anime industry, and he does cite the thing there, and it's yeah, there's a source. Good. You didn't have no sources. I get that. But there's just so much. It's more than that. That was kind of the one moment that I was able to point at. It's oh, he did do some research, but he's not presenting it in any way that I can do on my own independent research if I so wanted. You know what I mean? And it is extra work, but it's just as much work as editing a video like this. You put all this effort into these effects and making a video look as good as this does. I think this looks really nice, video crafting wise, and I've never had a problem with the way kind of Neet makes his videos. But there was just something kind of off about the approach for me personally. But I'm happy he did it. I just was really disappointed in the execution of it. I'd say it's not good. Well, time for some request videos. And the first one is from Victor. Wanted me to talk about a mad about Symphogear. And I translated the katakana back when I watched the at the beginning of the day when I watched it, and now it's hours and hours and hours later, so I don't quite remember. But I did watch it twice because the first time through I was not like I haven't watched Symphogear. This is an AMV about the 5th season of Symphogear, and it kind of seems to be a storytelling AMV or like a narrative AMV where it's kind of charting the course of the show, I guess. It starts with the transformations and the cast and stuff. And this is the middle section is this one shorter girl that's I think evil, but tries to stop the other evil girl, but she gets defeated or something. And then the last part is the kind of the big finale fight against the big bad. And it was well executed and stuff. I liked a lot of I think my favorite part was the beginning of introducing the characters. The way that was paced out with the music and the effects of the split screen with kind of this really nice drawing pastel look. I don't know if that was part of the show. That's kind of the difficulty with watching an AMV or something like this with not being familiar with the material, because there's often times where you don't know what is from the show or something that's an edit. There's a split screen. It's like, I don't know if that was from the show or something they added. The times where you can tell is like, oh, that's clearly like 2 opacity layers on top sort of deal. But even then, it's like, oh, that could have been from the show. I don't know. Especially, the digital era, right? A lot of these are kind of edited on Premiere sort of deal with various cuts and stuff. Anywho, I did enjoy it. I don't know what the song is from, but I don't. It's funny how using like a Japanese song like this, it makes it feel less like an AMV and more like an OP, like an extended OP or something like that. I guess what the mad is what they call it in Japan or something. Because usually like the term that I'm familiar with mad is a animator showcase. They're using a very specific animator, and maybe this is only one animator doing all of these cuts, and it's just layered in such a narrative way. I don't think that's what it is. I do think it's just a narrative of Symphogear. Like they even show like the title card of Symphogear XV sort of deal, and it's like, oh yeah, this really is just kind of like telling you the story kind of deal with all the transformations and various things like that. I enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to Symphogear a good deal. I've heard very good things. Here that it's kind of like you get the first season, you need to kind of get through it it's kind of rough for some people, but then like a lot of people have kind of turned around on season 2, 3 or something. But that's happened elsewhere, and it didn't work out for me. So it's not like I'm weary of watching the show. I think I'll like it, especially because I think I've seen the titles that would be more of a gateway to be like, oh, I like this type of thing. I like Mecha Musume and this type of show. You know what I mean? Although it's not my favorite. Like this type of show kind of reminds me of Precure or what was it? Milky Homes. I know it's not the same, that's more of a slapstick comedy kind of thing, but I don't know, the handling of the characters, and they're all females and stuff like that, and kind of an animation showcase sort of thing, and the type of fan this appeals to, I think there's similarities there, and it's like I liked Hardcatch Precure, and I liked the first season of Milky Homes. I think. Let me see what I rated them. I think I was pretty let down by the movie. I have not seen all of Milky Homes, I will say, because I did it during a group watch, and they said that most of the staff kind of leaves after season 2 in the movie, so it's not really the same. Actually, yeah, I gave all of it a good, because I think it was all very experimental and generally fun, but it wasn't what. Sometimes I would be checked out kind of deal, but it is what it is. So I feel like that's where I might land with Symphogear. I'm looking forward to it for sure. This is a well-made AMV. Mad, I suppose. Yeah, pretty cool. Thanks for requesting it. And gosh, I'm so sorry because like what happens is with these request videos, somebody sends me a video, I put it in my watch later and just kind of set it, forget it, and it'll just be there, and it's like, oh yeah, that video kind of thing. And so normally I'm able to look back in my DMs and things like that to find who requested it kind of deal if I forget. And I can't find who requested this. I'm pretty sure it's a request because it's from 2019. I don't know. I'm so sorry. I looked in my Patreon DMs, Discord DMs, Twitter DMs, my own Discord chat, like my Discord server, searched up this video, Takahata's Pippi Longstocking that never was. I cannot find it, and I'm so sorry. Whoever sent this. But I'm very happy they did because it's pretty dang cool. Dong Chang seems to be a legit animator in Japan, and makes videos kind of whenever he can, sort of deal. This is a very well polished video on the kind of the was it A-Pro that was going to make this? I believe so. But Takahata, Miyazaki, and Kotabe is kind of a very big video game character designer, but character design also for some of the early Toei stuff. Toei in that era. I'm not too familiar, but I've heard. And STEVEM has him as the definitive video on this guy on his channel. But they were all going to work on this series, and they got really far to the point where they made sample cells of what it was going to. So like you could physically see what the anime would look like. With like the characters, like it's a still frame still. It's still frame still. Like it's still just a picture, so it's not animated. But there's some pencil tests that are animated, and you can see how it would look like in that style back in the day with the cells and everything. They got really far, and it just didn't go through. They went to the place where the author lived, and they weren't available. They were tired or something. And apparently, way later down the line, and he explains this in the video. Way later, the author comes back to them, and they're like, "Hey, sorry about that. Can you still do it?" And they're like, "It's been decades." Just because now we have just because we're Studio Ghibli, now you want us to? No, that was kind of what I came up with. They were just like they said it's too late, kind of deal, and it's like yeah, it really is. You really missed the ball on that one. But they ended up using a lot of the stuff for Panda Go Panda, a little bit of Heidi, of course. Man, that was such a miss. That's crazy. I feel like it would be really cool if after they go, I would have, but like when they did approach them to later on, all those decades later, they were like, but that other work that you wrote, Ronja the something's daughter, whatever, that was the TV show that Goro directed, and it was partly like CG and stuff. That was the same author as Pippi apparently, and they were like, yeah, sure, I guess that's fine. Damn, what a tragic story, to be honest. But like there's so much incredible art material and like things that are shown here. It's a really well made video by Dong Chang. I really liked it. Thank you for whoever I assume is requested it. I apologize again for having misplaced where you recommended it. I'm sorry. But yeah, that was really sick. It's a really good video. I feel it's like this is definitely something Steven would have made. But I feel like I feel like that this video is kind of it, basically. I think it's awesome. I think Steven knows Dong Chang. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Whatever. It's a great video. Holy crap. Okay, now for some videos that I thought were decent. They're pretty good. And the first one's a debut from the Newtypes. It's a podcast hosted by Lone Crit, and it's got Young Kaiser, and I'm sorry, I forgot your name. Sorry. It's because I don't talk to you, I don't believe I've talked to you personally. Code Blaze Fate. Those three started a podcast. At last, they've joined the game. Hello. And I liked this first episode. It felt like a Discord call, and it probably was. My AniTube T is effectively a Discord call too. So no knocking the hustle, But it felt like that in the casual sense, where a lot of banter, a lot of deprecation on each other. You could tell they've talked to each other and have established a friendship for a long time, similar to Trash Taste, where they were friends for years before, and then they are very transparent that this is how we talk normally, and then now we're just kind of presenting it as a podcast kind of deal. And I really like that approach. This first episode was cool because I really think they had a lot of healthy bounce around and stuff, and they had a very good dynamic. It wasn't just Lone Crit taking over the whole conversation the whole time. I've talked with Lone Crit a long time. Where he wants to chat all the time. He feels more comfortable vocalizing and talking in Discord calls than just typing or whatever. And he can dominate a conversation quite a lot. And no knock on the guy. It's like, it is what it is. And, my concern going into it was just going to kind of be his show kind of deal. And they were like, yeah, kind of unfortunately, how it ends up being. But I think they had a really good banter with each other and taking down each other a peg, and it felt really good. And I liked the music in the background, and the conversation itself felt very additive. And generally, there was a lot of bashing in at some places of various things and critical of stuff, but it didn't feel like a super elitist kind of podcast either. It felt like they were very active and like, what are you watching? And they're watching stuff, right? And I haven't seen that type of thing. And there's good banter here. I think they should definitely continue this. Big major note that I should definitely hope that they take. It's only 30. I also like the length. I actually do like this. Like, oh, we got to go, and we should probably wrap it up, and we'll save it for the next one, kind of deal. Because they know they could probably go on for a long time, sort of deal. I liked that. The size, I think, is a really smart idea. There's not a lot of podcasts that are this size because that's not really the nature of podcasts. Podcasts are usually very long. At least an hour. Like an hour is short, but 36 minutes, it doesn't feel like a podcast. But I think that's kind of a different venture, and I think it's kind of interesting, and it works for this particular group. My one thing is, you should really edit it. You should really edit the spaces of silence. That's very noticeable. I feel like you can definitely do it. I don't know how you're doing this recording setup. I don't know if everyone's recording their own audio, or you're recording it, or one person's recording it kind of deal. I think the best thing you could do to improve this is, if everyone's recording their own audio, if that's the case, edit it in a software I think Audacity could probably do this if you import the things. Or if you have a video software, because you clearly do if you made a video like this, right? Put all them together in the video software. That's usually my comfortable thing. I feel much better editing audio in a video software. I don't know. It's just how I feel like doing it. If you cut out all those spaces or pace it in such a way that it sounds natural still, I get some of the pauses is it's something that it would be too choppy if you cut out everything, right? But especially because this is audio only and it's just a picture, you can definitely get away with abridging certain things, not cutting out conversations or anything, but really shorten these gaps to maybe being a fraction or less than a fraction of what they are now. Because there's a lot of really awkward or you say something and they're not sure if you're done talking and you're waiting for a response, and then they go oh yeah, there's a lot of awkward pauses here, and that's something that every podcast deals with, and unfortunately some of them, their solution has to be get over it and don't let that happen, because they film it, or for whatever reason, usually because they film it. I think you can't really cut that sort of stuff out with naturally. You could, there are little sneaky ways probably of doing it, but it's not easy. But this makes it way there's no excuse not to have these big pockets of nothing, especially because it's an audio only thing. That would be my big note. I like the music in the back. Definitely keep that. And I generally think it's good. It's good that you guys are doing this. I like it. Good stuff. I checked out the return of Vic and Hope for their Sangatsu no Lion full series review. It's pretty long, but it's again kind of in a podcasty type of thing, and they're both sitting in front of the camera and they're having a dialogue with each other. There's nothing very scripted or planned about this review, it seems. I think they had going into it with initial thoughts, and I really like this caveat of like, hey guys, we heard this was a masterpiece. We didn't end up feeling that way. It's an 8 out of 10. Sorry. It's an 8 out of 10. And yeah, just letting you know. I liked that a lot because it was transparent and like it set your expectations well. Also gave it a bit of intrigue, really. It was just like, oh, interest. So what are they going to say about it, kind of thing. Because if it were just like, it's a masterpiece, it's the best, it probably would have been kind of like, yeah, we've heard it a bunch of times. Because you're right, it is kind of praised to death, this particular show. Full disclosure, I have not seen it. I'm happy you did not seem to really spoil too much. You do talk in detail of certain details, but I liked that you didn't. There was nothing. There doesn't seem to be anything in this show that's very like, don't spoil that kind of thing, like twists and stuff. Although there's certain things that's like, oh, they don't focus on this aspect. Like I had seen stuff about Sangatsu, and it does seem like this girl at the beginning, that seems like this really shady character, has a past with the main character, and she seems really important. When you said in the second season, you think they're going to focus on her, but they never do. I was actually kind of happy you told me that, because now I can just remove those expectations from myself, and I can be like, okay, that's fine. They don't focus on it. When they do, great. But I'm not going to be disappointed in that now that I know that. And also to realize that it's an ongoing series. We're waiting on a season 3. The reason I haven't seen it yet was because I was just going to wait like everyone else, and I didn't want to. But I'm going to soon. Just because I had this particular idea for Sangatsu for a potential video idea, having to do with a different series that you're saying like, oh, no other anime does this with shogi, and like with most sports anime, they're all the same age, but there's a difference in age, and this dynamic is very rare in anime. The other one would be Hikaru no Go, which came out way before this one, and it's very similar as like the 5 Dawn, like they have Dons, and there's a whole association and becoming pro and kind of deal. Although it seems with Sangatsu, it focuses more on him being a pro, whereas Hikaru no Go actually tracks the journey of him becoming from a complete novice to a pro, which is interesting. It's kind of got its own different dynamics going on. But I will say it's not the only one that has this idea of like the old guy facing the young guy. Although I will say it doesn't tackle that as much in Hikaru no Go, because I think it's a different dynamic than what you seem to be describing with shogi. I'm sorry if I'm just nerding this out and it's not about the video. Sorry. I'm just going to put this conversation aside. Sorry. It's interesting. You should check out Hikaru no Go. I'm almost done with it. Yes, but I really liked that caveat at the beginning, and the dynamic, of course. I really liked a lot of the personal stories that Vic was sharing about his history and how he was relating to this show. I thought that was really insightful and really interesting and honest. It was mostly praise. Like, you were caveating, like, guys, we're not gonna suck this show's dick, but the majority of it was very positive. And it was a really great listen, I thought. I was very much enjoying it. It's long. I think maybe if it was parsed in such a way that you could have like get the best bits or sort of deal, maybe that could have made it a little stronger for me. But the full, because like for 54 minutes, it doesn't feel as immediately cohesive, because it's not like you're covering absolutely every aspect of this show. You're just kind of like just finished the show, here's my takeaway on it, and you're just kind of bantering about it, and I like that a lot. Don't get me wrong, and I think this is good as it is, but maybe if it was like parsed in such a way that it could be something that's like easier to send to people or something. Not like it's not easy to send as it is, but it's like, yeah, 54 minutes is kind of an ask, but it is what it is. I really enjoyed it. And that'd be the only thing I have to say kind of critically about it. I'm happy you guys are back, and I really enjoyed this. Great job. Sarah Moon had a she answered her. If you happen to see, she was the person on Twitter who put out a tweet that said, I just translated Yatsura as incels. And she was being very proud of that translation without any context, because she couldn't give context, because it was a project that she was under an NDA for. So she couldn't do that. And then like a few hours later, before the tweet blew up, I was like, it's a little too intense. It's a little too on the nose. I think there's a more appropriate translation here. And she doesn't even say what that change was, because again, NDA. So I think it's good that she does address that it was not the best idea, which I agree. I don't think that was a good idea. It's like, do you know what's going to happen, right? It's like, exactly, like people who don't, and she's like, oh, people who didn't even know who I was. I was like, yeah, that is how the internet works. People who don't know who you, don't have any, they don't care. They'll just go and attack someone. I like that she addressed the whole thing very adequately, reasonably, not super aggressive and defensive. She's not being defensive here. I really liked the way she handled this. Not like, it's not like a canceled, like, an address to a canceled type of thing. It didn't feel like that kind of video. She did turn it into a learning opportunity and really talking about how Japanese is a much vaguer language, relying on subliminal context and like other cues besides the direct language, and why we want to translate it as more descriptive than, because we don't want to just translate Yatsura as they, because it's boring, and or those bastards specifically, if you want to get like a more specific term. If you just translated it as bastards, you'll see all of this translated media with the same thing, and it would just kind of become a meme. It'd be very, very redundant. And I agree. I think that there's supposed to be different nuances and differences and stuff. So I think that's great. I think she handled it very well, and yeah, good job, good video. And I'm going to talk about another Charles Cornell video, because I just like these videos a lot. He reacted to Studio Ghibli music, just similar to his Bebop video, explained by a jazz pianist. And I just love his reactions so much, because they're very like surprised and not overreacting in a way. That he was just like, oh, because as like someone who who is a jazz pianist and knows exactly what's going on in the music and not just reacting to it on an emotional level like the majority of us would, he's taking it from the perspective of a real nerd and someone who does this stuff very often, and he's explaining each of his reactions. Every time he reacts to something, he has an explanation behind it and why this is cool, why this is nice. And all of those things go right over my head, because I'm not educated in this sort of thing. And he's not going to go that far into really explaining the things, but like I think it seems really legit, personally, at least. I don't know. I really enjoyed this video. Yeah, it was sick. I love his reactions. I love the selections he chose here. It's just 3 pieces, and he is like, let's go further in the piece and break down some things going on and things like that. I thought it was great. I like this video a good deal. Okay, and now what I thought were the best videos of the week. Some things that I thought were the best videos of the week. And the first 2 it's 4 videos, and they're kind of paired 2 and 2 for me. The first 2 are music videos. First one from Hikaru Utada, who is singing One Last Kiss. It's the music video for the song that played for the Eva 3.0 plus 1.0 trailer. And it's kind of seems like the main song of the movie. I don't know where it plays in the movie, but cool. And this music video is something specific to mention on Digest, because it's edited by Hideaki Anno. So because she lives in London and COVID, she ended up filming a bunch of footage, a lot of footage, and filming various locations and stuff, her having fun and singing it, whatever, similar to any kind of music video. And then by her request, she wanted Anno to edit it, to like kind of put it all together and stuff, so it had his personal touch in it. And that's just so freaking cool. I put it in the best just on a sheer cool factor, and I just love the song, and the video is really interesting, and just knowing that it's him behind that is really something. There really is kind of this really special thing knowing somebody behind something. It reminded me of hearing about how Satoshi Kon edited that Berserk AMV. Like he made a Berserk AMV, and it doesn't look like anything too special. But knowing that it was him behind it just makes it really cool and really special to me. There's something really awesome about it. So I mean, that was just really cool. Something that happened this week. I wanted to share that here because this is the thing that happened on YouTube related to anime. So yeah, I liked it a lot. It was really, really cool. And the other music video is Boy. I don't even know the name of the band. Unfortunately, it's all kanji. I'm sorry. But the interesting thing, if you can see on the thumbnail, Naoki Urasawa animated this. He's a manga artist for Monster, 20th Century Boys, Pluto. He animated this music video. And it's using his character designs, and they look an awful lot like 20th Century Boys. And the themes in the music video are calling a lot back to 20th Century Boys, with like them growing up and having more energy back than when they were kids, and then now that they're adults, they have to like slow down and things like that. And it's such a great energy. I love the song, and I think it's such a great fit for his style, and like the animation's really limited. It is just kind of like flip book, like pencil test stuff. That's like super like it's just him doing this and whatever, but like it's really well done. It's really great, actually. For limited animation and stuff, I think it's great choices. It really made me want to be. It's like, man, it really is that. Is it really that easy? Damn. It's not easy. Animation is not easy at all. But this was such an economic way of doing it. It was wonderful, and I love the song again. I can't stress that enough. It's so funny, a lot of cool like cutaways and stuff, and has a great energy to it. And just knowing that it's the fucking guy who wrote Monster, and he's the manga artist doing this music, it's so dope. It's so cool, dude. Like, are you kidding me? That's so sick. I'm overwhelmed by how cool that is. Like, it's so incredible. Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. I'm putting that as one of the best of the week for sure. Of course, I think it'd be more suitable to kind of choose people who are anime YouTubers for AniTube Digest kind of deal. And two people who are my favorites dropped a video this week, and both of them are amazing. I don't really have like a preference so much of one or the other, I guess, but I did see STEVEM's Red Line Problem, of course. I'm not missing an upload from this guy, and I'm happy he's the one kind of putting out videos like this at this point. I feel like I can't keep up. I can't bring myself to, like, I have too much like emotional investment with these big videos and stuff, and the way they perform and stuff just fucks with my mind too much. It's just like, yeah, I don't know. I just let him handle all the major productions kind of deal. Like, yeah, make the Akira video that I want to be made kind of deal. I really liked this video. Like, it is just kind of the same stuff, but like I liked how many more, like, I don't know how often this was in his other content, but this had a lot more AMV interludes, I noticed, and they were really cool. They were really good, really well paced and stuff, and welcome. It was just like another ingredient to his already banger soup. Like, already top line, sources all listed, like tons of them in the fucking pinned comment, and referenced in the corner. Like, that's another thing. Like, I like to be like, oh yeah, I cite sources in some places, but like, I don't even go that far to be like, put them in the corner, like as a numbered thing, and it's like, yo, I can directly link back to the things you're saying. Like, that's top tier, like S tier citing. Like, it's incredible and really well shown too, like implemented into the video. And I'm never gonna not shut up about how cool these illustrations of the staff are that he's doing, and the way he presents these quotes and stuff. Even when like I know where some of these like the shots are coming from and stuff like knowing that is still kind of like, it's still great that he went through that instead of just like using the picture and stuff. Unbelievable polish here. Great research. I really liked the de-emphasis on its its representation of anime and like, oh, it's a failed project or something like that. He's very point blank about the realities here. It's like they had 2 years to make this, they took 7. And then it's like, this is how much it probably didn't cost as much as you think, but it was just very difficult and tumultuous. Although I don't think he painted it as tumultuous as he hints at the very beginning of the video. The Koike stuff is amazing. That whole section describing that, his trajectory and where he was coming from and his influences, all of that slaps. It's excellent. It's really what you want to see. It's really well done. And yeah, I really like the whole video. I liked all of it. But it's sort of it is just, it's like, yeah, it's another good STEVEM video. I'm not surprised. I'm just kind of like, yeah, that's another one. Yeah, wow. I don't know. It's excellent. Yeah, keep going, please. You're our greatest hope at the moment, in my opinion, in terms of just like the amount of and like putting the historic, like giving historical context and giving actual industry research into this stuff and giving a shit to that degree is just great. Yeah, please keep going. But yeah, the other one was KYDB. Yep, he's the best. Sorry. What do you expect? Here's the thing. KYDB does not list anything in the description, but you can watch the video and be like, wow, he is showing all of the research he did in describing the situation of Kimono no Friends 2. When I really liked the structure of the video, the spine of going episode by episode and also documenting the Nico response. That's the first time I ever heard of that. I did not know that was a thing. That is fascinating. I did not know that at all. How did I not know that? And used in such a dramatic device here, the way KYDB is describing, like, this was, at the time, the 5th lowest rated episode. And then, and like later on, it's like, yeah, and then the last episode aired. And, things like that. It gets worse and worse. I don't know if it's the same as of now, because this was made back in early 2020. But I don't know if it's changed at that point. But right now, it's sitting as the single worst rated episode of anime to air on Nico, which is a big deal for the Japanese reception. And I really liked the focus on that, because there was very little to none focus in the Western. There's nothing to talk about. The West really just, we were aware, and I really like that KYDB really gives that point to you and illustrates it with a bunch of tweets, a bunch of news sources, websites, like really giving you the evidence in video form. So you don't have to look for, you don't even have to look for it yourself, because it would be very difficult to, because it's all Japanese, right? And all the research is there. And that by itself, the amount of research you put into this video, KYDB, it literally does not matter, oh, I do not watch that much anime or read that much manga. It does not matter. You put that much stuff into it, you're already leagues, miles, circumferences around the earth better than some of these guys. Already. That's not even to describe how funny you are. That's not even to begin how creative the skits are here. There's a whole narrative of you going through Japari Park, like live action, and each one's distinctive and funny and not repetitive and excellent and feels warranted. The length really does feel warranted, I think. Is there so much detail you pack into here? Nothing feels wasted. And it was a 2-hour video. And at the end, you stick a 6-minute thing describing the manga, because you completely forget about you don't forget about it, but you just never talk about it, and you praise the shit out of it. And in that 6 minutes, I was thinking about how, like, yeah, you're not very happy with this particular video because you're harsher on some of these things than you are now in hindsight. And that's fine and good. I think everything is going to change. Well, when you make a video, naturally your opinions are going to change regardless. It might be for the better, it might be for the worse. It's going to fluctuate. But the point is, you're putting the video, so you're crystallizing what you thought at that time. And I think that's valuable. And irregardless of your opinion and like, oh, I was too harsh on it, you give a mountain of evidence to be like, this was the Japanese reception, which is kind of the most important thing. It doesn't even matter what the Western kind of like, well, we gave a shit about it. The difference in sales and the difference in popularity and the Japanese fan reaction to this, and showing the video that got way more views than the first episode did, kind of deal. Things like that. There's just so much effort put into this. And that's all that matters to me. At the end of the day, in terms of this video crafting that you're doing, I think you make this subject very enthralling and entertaining and interesting. I am not a Kimono Friends fan. I have not seen the first season. And, I interrupted myself. When you started talking about the manga and how good it is, I do think you're better at talking about things you dislike. I do think you're better at it. Not that you're bad at talking about the things that you do like, but I think all of your points about the first season of Kimono Friends hit way stronger because you were contrasting it with what was happening in season 2. And your passion for Kimono Friends is evident, and you're a fan of this show, and you weren't that harsh on it. At least you even say so in the video, where it's like, I thought that episode wasn't so bad. Not the fans though, and you show the NineOuh ratings, and that alone would be like, you weren't too harsh on it apparently. You know what I mean? And no, I think you're wrong about your trepidations with it. Like you can have your feelings about it. That's fine. Not to invalidate or anything like that, but cheer up, dude. You're good. You can make this stuff, and I've told this in previously, and I don't want to repeat myself a bunch of times, but you really do make this stuff very interesting by your humor, by your delivery, and by the sheer amount of effort. Jesus Christ, the fucking South Park skit, little 5-second thing you thought would be funny, that was like, you just made a South Park thing. You just made it. You didn't take from a video. You fucking animated a South Park skit. Like, very authentically, too. With the whole, like... And then you go so far as to be like, oh, stupid me. I thought they said this guy. I thought they said man instead of guy. Or like, you nitpicked it in the video. And you're like, ah. But, like, all of us aren't paying attention to that so much as, like, he made a South Park skit. He animated the South Park thing. How did you... Oh my God. That's what we're thinking. All right. And not like not like it's a knock against the video that you did that self-deprecating, whatever. I think it's good that you have that self-awareness, and that's the thing. You can't even bring yourself to let the video play for the most. Like, you do for the most part, but there's a couple times where you break in, like, I was wrong about this thing or whatever. And that just shows how much you care about this stuff, and that's all I care about when it comes to, like, video production. And, I never try to say anything about a YouTuber being lazy, because a lazy person would not make the video to begin with. It just wouldn't have come out. But there's different degrees of effort and skill and talent, and you have skill and talent in this. I hope you keep going. I hope you liked making these. I'm looking forward to the Kamarikusa video. I thought that was going to be part of this, actually, but it wasn't. And it's like, wow, that just had to much detail. But again, you had me so invested for those 2 hours. It was the best thing I saw this week. Even with STEVEM's, like, really polished, excellent Redline video, it's still, like, something to be warranted of how much you're putting into it. Like, it's like, oh my God, in terms of the amount of research and the amount of effort you're putting into the skits and the thoroughness, all of it. And you just come through every single time. And it's, even if you come out with like a shorter video or something like that, I'm sure you're going to be like, wow, that was it. That's all I could just make that. And I think, like, I think you're starting to feel fatigued of how much work you're putting into this stuff. I don't know if you are or not. I certainly feel fatigued making my girl log on video and then my loop on video, and it's like, I just want to make short shit now. I just want to make just That's the thing I like. I just want to make that stuff now. But maybe my mind will change and I'll stop being burnt out by the summer, or like by the end of the summer or something. Maybe. I don't know. Sorry if it's suddenly about me by the end. Anyway, great video. Shut up. It's good. I'm very happy you released it. Like I imagine like with you thinking those things and it took you this long, it was finished on this day kind of deal, and you took that long to not release it. You probably feels like, oh man, I still don't know about it. But I'm very glad that you did. Thank you for releasing that because it was great. I enjoyed it a lot. Well, that'll do it for this installment of AniTube Digest. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you to my patrons, including Austin, Boo, Kuiper, My Anime Pod, Najbeb, Nicholas, Saxon, Unique Namosaurus, Victor, and Yellow Cheese. You guys are great. You have a great week. Yo, peace.